Let me ask you something. The problem your company solves, is it obvious to your buyer? Not after you explain it, but before that. Most founders I speak to don't hesitate here. The answer is immediate. Yes, of course, this is a real problem. Buyers need to fix this. And honestly, from their perspective, that makes complete sense. Over the last few weeks, I ran a simple exercise across multiple B2B companies, different industries, different products, different stages. Same question. Is the problem we solve already visible to the buyer? I asked the founder, someone from sales, someone from product, and someone from engineering. And just to be clear, this isn't about someone being right or wrong. This shows up even in really strong teams. It's just hard to see from inside. The founder's answer, clear, confident, immediate. But the rest of the team, they paused. Not because they didn't understand the problem, but because they weren't sure the buyer actually feels it yet. And that's where something subtle shows up. Nobody disagrees with the problem, but there isn't always alignment on one thing. Whether the problem is already real for the buyer or still needs to be explained. If you have been on enough sales calls, you have probably felt this. A buyer listens, they nod, but they don't go deeper. They don't push urgency. They don't challenge assumptions. They don't ask detailed follow-ups. They stay at the surface. And after the call, it's easy for us to say, they didn't get it. We need to explain it better, or maybe they are not the right fit. But sometimes none of those are true. Sometimes they just don't experience the problem the way you do or I do. If you're in sales, product, or engineering, you've probably seen this in small ways. A call where something didn't quite land, a feature that made sense internally but didn't resonate externally. And it's not that the company is wrong, it's just that the market and the company are not fully in sync yet. When this feedback comes back into the company, something interesting happens. We interpret it. We tend to accept the feedback that fits what we already believe and explain away the rest. Not intentionally, but consistently. Over time, this creates a stable internal story, even if the market is telling a slightly different one. This is one of the hardest gaps in B2B, because inside the company, we operate from intent. We know why we build this. We know what problem matters, and we know what should feel urgent. But the buyer operates from experience. Their problems show up as broken workflows, missed numbers, daily friction. And if your problem doesn't show up there, it doesn't trigger action. So it's not that the problem isn't real, it's that it's not visible enough. And that changes everything. Because when a problem isn't visible, buyers don't search, they don't prioritize, they don't move. And from your side, it feels like resistance, but from their side, there's nothing to act on yet. Most teams don't have a disagreement problem, they have a visibility problem. So if you want to test this, try this as a team. Sit down with your sales, product, and engineering folks and ask one question. What problem do our buyers already feel without us explaining it? And when you hear the answers, resist the urge to align them immediately. Let each perspective stand, because the differences in those answers are often where your market actually is. The goal here is not to agree instantly, it's to see clearly, because once that becomes visible, everything else gets easier.